our membership figures stood at 700, listen properly, 769,820 and 70 members, down from 100.2 million in 2012.
Really, Mr. President, we have a problem because that report was actually released almost 12 months now. And there's no action up to so far from your side in terms of the remedial actions of the public protector. But also you have given police minister an instruction to go, or whatever report a letter you wrote to him, to say determine as the remedial actions of the public. He hasn't come back to you. A man who supposed to act when instructed by the president to act is not responding to you. He takes his own time. The only thing he specializes with is the firing of head of the hawks. So you are dealing with an incompetent fellow here who has been given a task by your good self, and yet is unable to come back to you as to when should you pay back the money and how much.
The Honorable the President.
Honorable Speaker.
Jacob Zuma's return, a looming crisis for South Africa. Speculation is rife about the potential return of Jacob Zuma, South Africa's controversial former president. His presidency, spanning from 2009 to 2018, left a legacy marred by corruption, economic collapse, and administrative disarray. With the campaign for Zuma Reloaded gaining momentum, the question arises: is South Africa on the brink of another governance disaster? Zuma's devastating legacy. Zuma's presidency is widely regarded as a dark chapter in South African history. His administration became synonymous with state capture, where powerful private interests, notably the Gupta family, infiltrated and exploited government institutions. This corruption siphoned billions from public coffers, crippling essential state-owned enterprises, SOEs, like Eskom, South African Airways, and Transnet. The effects were devastating. Rolling blackouts, plummeting investor confidence, and an economy pushed to the brink of collapse. Beyond economic failures, Zuma's tenure systematically undermined South Africa's democratic institutions. The judiciary, National Prosecuting Authority, and South African Revenue Service were hollowed out, replaced by loyalists who prioritized shielding Zuma and his associates from accountability. These actions eroded public trust and set back progress on governance reform by years. Political divisions and betrayals. Zuma's leadership fractured the African National Congress, ANC, and alienated its traditional allies. Key factions split off to form new political movements, such as the Congress of the People, COPE, and the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, both driven by disillusionment with Zuma's leadership. The National Union of Metalworkers of South Africa, NUMSA, also severed ties with the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, further exposing Zuma's inability to maintain unity within the ANC alliance. The Marikana Massacre, a tragic event where police opened fire on striking miners, exposed the callous indifference of Zuma's administration. Zuma's absence during the aftermath and his deflection of blame onto the victims underscored his lack of accountability. This incident remains a painful reminder of the failures of his leadership. The Gupta connection and ethical failures. One of the most damning aspects of Zuma's presidency was his unrelenting association with the Gupta family. Despite warnings from within his party, Zuma continued to facilitate the Gupta's influence over state affairs, effectively auctioning off South Africa's sovereignty to private interests. His refusal to sever ties with the family highlighted his prioritization of personal enrichment over national interests. Zuma's leadership style also fostered a culture of fear within the ANC. He systematically purged dissenters, removing talented and principled politicians who posed any threat to his power. This internal suppression weakened the ANC, eroded its moral authority, and left a leadership void that continues to plague the party. A warning for Africa. The implications of Zuma's potential return extend beyond South Africa. His comeback would send a dangerous signal to other African nations, that leaders can escape accountability and return to power, no matter how damaging their tenure. This undermines efforts to promote good governance and sets a troubling precedent for a continent already grappling with leadership challenges. For South Africa, Zuma's return could shatter any remaining investor confidence and deepen the socio-economic crises facing the nation. With unemployment and inequality at record highs, the country cannot afford another leadership disaster. Conclusion: Jacob Zuma's potential return to power is not a story of redemption but a looming crisis. His presidency left South Africa economically battered, politically divided, and institutionally weakened. Allowing him to regain control would not only be a betrayal of the nation's democratic principles, but also a grave risk to its future. South Africa's citizens must resist the allure of political nostalgia and demand leaders who will prioritize accountability, reform, and the well-being of the nation over self-serving agendas. Stay tuned for further updates on this developing story as South Africans grapple with the weight of their political choices and the potential return of a divisive figure who reshaped the country's trajectory for the worse. Please like this video so we can know who visited our channel, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.